really a distinction in that you're a solvent lender still operating your business. We've seen some incredible failures in the space over the last month, starting with Terra Luna on the Anchor protocol, and then Celsius halting withdrawals. What has brought this about? Why this crisis in confidence?
Well, when the tide goes out, you see who has been swimming naked. And unfortunately, a lot of companies have been doing that. It all goes back to, prudent risk management, which we always adhered at Nexo. And a lot of the actors have engaged in risky activity amongst others, uncollateralized lending amongst themselves to then take risky bets. And this has caused some solvency issues for a lot of players. And, I'm happy to be as one of the companies that is in a very good position. And the great thing about it is you don't have to take my word for it. You can go online and check the real-time audit on our assets that we did with Armanino while times were good and everybody was greedy. You can see that our assets exceed our liabilities with more than 100% all of the time.
In terms of the customers that have been left hanging, one need only look at Twitter to see they're messaging you, asking about your business. They're sort of up for grabs, right? You can take them, and there are also assets that will likely be for sale. At Celsius, for example, are you planning on taking advantage of this situation and growing Nexo?
We're planning on helping remedy the situation for the entire ecosystem. I want to echo what CZ just said. This reminds me, quite frankly, of the 1907 banks panic, where JP Morgan was forced to step in with his own funds and then rally all those guys that were solvent to fix the situation. That was pre-Federal Reserve, so no lender of last resort. So the situation right now is very similar. We have been approached by three household names and Wall Street banks who are looking to leverage their expertise with the ones that are solvent to help remedy the overall situation. And this is what we're looking at. There are going to be a lot of consolidation. There are ongoing processes that are unfortunately cannot comment on, but this is definitely where we're heading: acquisitions and a consolidation of the space.
Anthony, let's talk about a little bit about Three Arrows Capital, of course, the crypto hedge fund that hasn't been able to meet some of its own liabilities. I want to ask how worried we should be about that situation and whether or not you have exposure to that crypto hedge fund.
We have zero exposure to Three Arrows Capital. Truth be told, a few years ago, they came to us and asked for an unsecured loan, which we did not feel comfortable providing because it goes against our risk management parameters, and they got it elsewhere. I think what has happened to them is to a large extent already priced in. The sell pressure that we saw on Monday and Tuesday was Three Arrows Capital being liquidated because they couldn't meet their margin calls. Thus far, things appear to be calming down, so I'm not worried about ripple effects immediately. But the lenders that gave them unsecured loans, they are not in the greatest of spots, and we have to be carefully watching how that unfolds and to make sure that we return to best practices after this whole mess resolves itself.
Anthony, Bitcoin currently around 21,000. What do you make of the crypto winter and where Bitcoin prices head from here? Some of our colleagues writing about how we've dropped to levels that are below the peak of the last cycle, the peak achieved during the last halving cycle. Is that significant for you? How much downside is still left here?
Well, I think all the negativity with all the solvency issues and the pressure that we saw on the market is already priced in. I think there's a very good chance that these levels around 20,000 hold, which coincidentally are the previous all-time highs of the previous bull cycle that ended 2017, 2018. So there's a very good chance we see a relief rally here. But it also depends on how the overall risk on assets are performing. You can have the S&P go down 3% a day and expect a heavy rally in Bitcoin. But just a quick reminder, last time we had this type of volatility in Bitcoin, and it lost like 50% intraday, was in March 2020. And out of those levels, it went then to go 10x and reach levels of 50,000. So after the deleveraging and de-risking of the sector, I think we'll be back in a rampant bull market.
So by the time we get to the next halving, Antoni, do you expect Bitcoin to be at new records again?
I do expect that.
Want to give us a target? Want to give us a number?
I stick by my guns and my target of 100,000 within 12 months from now. And this will not be by any measure the craziest thing that Bitcoin has done.